Sir Majesty Easy World. He does fun experiments and science missions. So please subscribe and yeah, we'll have a good time.
He stretches muscles of the eyeball. Different actions of the latissimus dorsi.
Subscribe to Sir Majesty Easy World Science channel on YouTube, and there you will find a lot of amazing videos, and yeah, they are very educative.
Subscription is free. Just go online and hit on the button.
About 50 videos are available for you. Educative and informative, inspiring and entertaining industrial production processes. Sir Majesty Easy World is an online school of science. No school fees, no stress. We teach the real thing. Just visit and subscribe. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Savannah. I'm a medical student in St. Lucia, and I'm here to encourage you to subscribe to Sir Majesty.
Very nice to see you are there. You are live with Sir Majesty Easy World Science channel, and this should be stream 3 for biology stream 3. This should be the final revision before your exams. So as usual, I'll show the questions that we have for this stream, and then endeavor to watch other past stream. Please come with your final questions. I wish you the best of luck as far as these exams are concerned. And please don't forget to subscribe and share these videos, and also help others learn. There is love in sharing knowledge, actually. So first thing I'll do, I'll display the questions for today for you to see them. So we'll be going with these sets of questions. If you can't see them clearly now, I will still bring them clearer for you. I'm not quiet, I'm displaying the questions. Are you not seeing the questions there on the screen? So try your ability first before I now tell you the ways out. So I'm still on with you, please. I'm not quiet. You are seeing the questions there on the screen. So after the display, I'll now handle it. We are going to answer 20 questions today, unlike other live stream that we answer 10, because this is our final revision. We will extend to 20 questions. Remember, these questions are likely questions or questions that are meant to expose your weakness and get you prepared so that you will now score higher. So please, make sure you bring your own questions. Thank you for understanding, Apollos. Okay. So you can see the sets of questions there. So I think it's time we go back and tackle them one after the other. They might not be too clearer, but I will highlight them from a file where they will be clear. Okay, we go back to our, here we have this page created already, and I have to lift them one after the other. So we will start from number 21. Let me guess which one is 21. Think. Okay, we're supposed to start from number 11 actually. So I'm taking this one back. This last part of it. Okay, this is exactly what we want. So this is question. This one contains question number 11. I think they are very clear there. It is very clear rather. It says, let me zoom it well. Okay. The question there says, absorption of tail of tadpole as it changes to adult toad is caused by, is now asking you the parts of the cell organelle responsible for the absorption of the tail of tadpole. A says lysosomes, B says ribosomes, C says chromosomes, and D says centrosomes. One funny thing is that these options all ends in somes, right? Lysosome, ribosomes, chromosomes, centrosomes. Imagine the rhyming. Okay. You should now learn that the correct answer is A, lysosomes. Please, lysosomes, the word lysis means breaking down. So lysosomes are actually for the responsible for the breakdown or the resorption of cell parts, because the work of lysosome is to break down engulfed bacteria. So the answer I highlight here is lysosomes. And I said the word lysosome, lysis means breaking down. So the work of lysosome as a cell organelle is to actually break down worn out tissues or worn out organelles, to break down worn out organelles in a cell, keep the cell clean, make sure that old organelles are get rid of. So it has the ability to break down, and the word lysis in science means breaking down. So whenever you hear about pyrolysis, even in chemistry, it's all about breaking down. Hemolysis, which is the destruction of red blood cell. So the word lysis, which started that lysosome, means either destruction, breaking down, or decomposition, as you can see in electrolysis. So electrolysis is still the same lysis. So lysosomes are actually responsible for breaking down of engulfed bacteria in a cell and other pathogens, but it also breaks down worn out part of the cell. Now, in a tadpole, the tail is no longer needed. Therefore, the lysosome will release an enzyme that will do what? Dissolve it. So remember that tadpole is actually one of the stages in the metamorphosis of toad, is representing the larval stage of the anurans. Anurans means actually the amphibians that are tailless, which includes the toads and frogs. So the answer is lysosome. And because of this, one should also know in extension that lysosome can also cause the death of a cell. So lysosome can cause death of a cell by killing even healthy cell organelles. As it kills those ones that are worn out, it might mistakenly kill healthy ones, and that will lead to what we call autolysis. Autolysis means self-destruction of a cell. So autolysis is meaning what? Self-destruction of a cell. Please, and this takes you to another name of lysosome. Lysosome can be called stomach of a cell or suicide bay. Suicide bay, because it causes the death of the cell that has it. So we go to the next question. It says, number 12 says, the group of mammals that carry out oviparous reproduction are called. Oviparity means laying of egg, reproduction that involves laying of egg. To oviposit means to lay egg. So we have different forms of reproduction. We have oviparous, ovoviparous, and viviparous. So it is strange to hear that mammals lay egg. It is very strange, because the common idea is that mammals are animals that give birth to young ones alive. But this is not true in all cases. The word mama doesn't really mean giving birth to young one alive. Mama is derived from the Greek word malme, which means breast. So the word mama actually was derived based mainly on the word breast. That's malme. So a mama is just an animal that breastfeeds young ones. That's what is constant among every mama. Not every mama give birth to young ones alive. So this live stream is to correct that impression that not every mama give birth to young ones alive. Some mamas lay egg. Now, those egg-laying mamas are called monotremes. So option D over there shows monotremes. So monotremes, that's this particular option here, are actually egg-laying mammals. If you don't call them monotremes, you can call them the prototherians. The prototherians. So prototherians, are actually egg-laying mammals, and another name for prototherians are called monotremes. They called monotreme because they have one hole, mono, and that hole allows both the passage of the egg and the other gametes. So they just have one hole. Therefore, by so saying, one should be convinced that mammals lay egg. Then the question is, what are the examples of mammals that lay egg? Examples of mammals that lay egg, we have duck-billed platypus. There are duck-billed platypus and there are spiny artiata. So we have the examples of monotremes is what I'm giving now. Duck-billed platypus. So the duck-billed platypus is a good example. Another one is the spiny artiata, examples of egg-laying mammals. Spiny anteater. So these two are examples of egg-laying mammals. So monotremes are egg-laying mammals. So mammals that lay egg are called monotremes. Then mammals that give birth to young ones alive, that is viviparity, viviparous reproduction. Mammals that reproduce by giving birth to young ones alive are actually called the Therians. They are called the Therians, while prototherians lay egg. So when you come to the Therians are actually the true beasts. They are further divided into the Therians actually means beast. Then we have the true beasts and some of them that are not actually true beasts. So we have metatherians, and we have the eutherians. Remember, in science language, U means true. Anything U means true, like eukaryotes, meaning those organisms that have true nucleus. So anything EU is talking about bacteria, true bacteria. Then Therians they don't lay eggs. So mammals that give birth to young ones alive are called the Therians, and Therians are divided into metatherians and eutherians. Eutherians means true beast. Then metatherians are also called marsupials. That is the marsupial mammals or purged mammal, like the kangaroo. They are mammals that give birth to young ones in a very premature stage, such that the premature stage or premature form of the young one enters into the marsupium, where it stays and completes development. So they are called marsupial mammals. That's the metatherians. I say they are the common ones we call the marsupials. You see that in option A, that's marsupials. So marsupials don't lay egg. Rather, they give birth to young ones in a premature stage that completes development in the marsupium or a pouch in the stomach. So they are pouched mammals. Okay, then the eutherians means placental mammals. They are those that give birth to young ones alive. So these eutherians means placental mammals. By this one means pouched mammals or marsupials. So placental mammals, the eggs are developed inside. They are viviparous, of course. The eggs are developed inside, fertilized inside, developed inside the body of the mother, and the young ones are given birth to alive in a complete form, not in an immature stage. So that rounds it up about that question. We now go to next one. We get our board clean first. If you have your questions, remember I'm here for you. Thanks for being there. And your success is my topmost priority. Okay. Just want to clean this off. Stop delaying me. Okay, we bring our question here again. Number 13 says sympathetic nervous system induced response is similar to that of A. Hormones of anterior pituitary. B. The hormones of thyroid and parathyroid gland. C. The hormones of the adrenal cortex. Then D. The hormones of the adrenal medulla. You should know that the effect of sympathetic nervous system is similar with the effect of fight and flight hormone. That's emergency hormone. Therefore, where are produced at the medulla of the adrenal gland. So they are the hormones of adrenal medulla. The correct answer to number 13 is D. So for example, the sympathetic nervous system induces or increases the rate of heartbeat. The same thing happens to adrenaline and noradrenaline, which are the hormones of the adrenal medulla. They also increase heart rate. They dilate the pupil. So do sympathetic nervous system also do. So the effects are similar. The answer is D. We go to question 14. The main supporting tissue in primary plant body is or are. When we say primary plant body, it means a plant that have not undergone secondary thickening. That is a plant that is yet to undergo secondary growth for the dicots. No, monocots don't undergo secondary growth actually. So coming to supporting tissues, we know we have sclerenchyma, collenchyma, then the parenchyma, even the so-called woody xylem. Remember, xylem have two functions in a plant. Xylem is a conducting tissue. Which one is not clear? It's very clear, please. It's crystal clear. Increase the quality you are using to view it, please. It's very much clear, please. Increase the quality you are using to watch this live stream. And make sure that everything is intact. It's very, very clear. So let me go back to what I'm explaining. The supporting tissues, I said that xylem have two functions. It serves as a supporting tissue and at the same time serve as a conducting tissue. But in a primary plant body, xylem doesn't provide support. It is just for transport because it has not been lignified. It has not been changed to wood yet. Then woody xylem is what provides support. So that's just by the way. Now, in a primary plant body, there's what we call primary growth. Primary growth is actually brought about by the meristem, the meristematic tissues, that's the tip ones. So, but secondary growth is brought about by the action of vascular and cork cambium. So after secondary growth, we talk about wood. And the plant body after secondary growth is called secondary plant body. The same thing, primary plant body. So the primary plant tissues are actually option D, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. That's it. That's the major thing, like in herbaceous plants. What provides support in herbaceous plants, which are monocots that never undergo secondary thickening, are actually collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Then question 15 says, an achene in which the fruits, fruit wall hardens and extends to form a long membranous wing-like structure is called an achene. Here is talking about fruit classification. Remember that an achene is just dry indehiscent fruit containing one seed. One seeded dry indehiscent fruit is what we call achene. Let's just go back and pick our live stream. Okay, so one seeded indehiscent fruit. This achene is what we are considering. So other types are actually variants of achene. Then dry indehiscent fruits can be collectively called achenes. So achenes includes the option A, B, C. Okay, C is not an achene. C is a fleshy fruit, that's drupe. Then D is part of achene. So achenes have samara, caryopsis, cypsela, and nuts. So let me explain other variants of achene. Okay, variants of achene. That's modified form of arcing, is what I'm talking about here. Variants of arching. So we are talking about types of, it's the same thing as say types of dry indehiscent fruits. Dry indehiscent fruits. You can further classify them into Cypsella or Cypsella. In Cypsella, example is Ducts. So we have also Samara. Example is I think ash fruit, Combretum. So this one is that the so-called pericarp in Samara is modified to. So the Samara have the fruit wall modified, and good examples are the so-called ash fruit, the Combretum, the elm. Yes, of course, they are all here. Then Cypsella have the fruit wall modified to form a parachute. So like Ducts, parachute-like modified fruit wall. Then another one is the so-called knots. So knots are actually the one that have fibrous fruit wall. The fruit wall is fibrous, and we call them knots. Then another one is the one classified as the true nut. Here is cashew nut. Remember, groundnut is not a nut. Everything that have name in it are not nuts. Here is only cashew nut that is a true nut. Then apart from nuts, we now have Caryopsis. Caryopsis is just dry indehiscent fruit that have both the tester and the fruit wall fused together. That's the seed coat. Example here is maize. So here I have the seed coats. Seed coats plus the fruit wall are fused together. That's how to know them. So these are actually variants of arching, though some people will say that arching is separate. So the answer to that question is Samara, having membranous wing. Combretum, elm fruit, ash fruit are all good examples of Samara. We go to the next question as quickly as possible. Okay, the next question says, okay, we are done with this set. I'll highlight another one. Please, what do you define scheme as? No, arcing, not scheme. A-C-H-E-N. Arcing is one-seeded dry indehiscent fruit. Any indehiscent fruit that contains one seed and is dry is called an arcing, meaning other forms are variants of arcing. Though your textbook will say arcing, Caryopsis, not Samara, and the rest of them, but the so-called Caryopsis, Samara are all variants of arcing. Thank you. So the next set of questions, we start with 19, of course. I think we answered, I answered 15. We're supposed to see 16. Okay, here we go. Okay, question 16 says DNA is the hereditary material. DNA is the hereditary material in most organisms except in, the answer is A, some viruses. In some viruses like RNA virus, you might have heard about RNA virus. So in RNA virus, the genetic or hereditary material is controlled by the so-called RNA and not DNA. So that's it. All other living things, their major genetic material is DNA, or major hereditary material is DNA. Then number 17 says, an outstanding, okay, we are typing there. Okay, one outstanding advantage of the loud cry made by newborn babies immediately they are delivered is, we all know that when a child is newly born, on coming outside the world, the child cries. The advantage of that loud cry is to fill the lungs with air, because while the baby is still in the womb, the lungs are not yet well developed. The lungs are not working. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it helps to fill the lungs with air, at least supply the lungs with what we call residual gas. So it's very necessary that a child that is born, if the child doesn't cry, you can tap the child gently to make the child cry in order to enable the child fill the lungs. So the option C is the correct answer, to fill the lungs with air for respiration. It means that at the fetus level, that lungs is bypassed. So in fetal circulation, the lungs are not included. Then number 18 says, use the diagram below to answer questions 18 and 19. Please, this diagram is nephridium. Nephridium is actually used as an excretory structure in earthworm. So the parts labeled IV is the nephrostome, while II is the middle tube, while III, that's here. Please, IV, I say, is the nephrostome. That's what I'm writing here. Nephrostome. Then III is the middle tube. Then the other one is the nephridopore. That's III is nephridopore. Nephridopore. So let's just go to the options. You will see what the question is talking about. So I is just muscular tube, while I say nephridopore. III is middle tube. Then IV is nephrostome, which have cilia that draws water into the nephridium. So I highlight where the question continued. Not here. Okay, here I have the 19. Question 19 says the structure that serves similar functions as the diagram above in arachnids, meaning the excretory structure in arachnids, because that structure drew there, I told you, is nothing but nephridium and is for excretion in earthworm. So then they are asking you in arachnids, what are the excretory structures? Please, one should know that in arachnids, the excretory structure in arachnids actually book lungs or lung book. Thus, we are seeing option C there. Then green glands are the one for shrimp. Shrimp is a crustacea, and the excretory structure for the crustaceans is called green glands. So the correct answer is A. So, sorry, not A, please. Option C is the correct answer. Lung books. Then question 20 says, lung books and green gland, meaning lung books for arachnids, green glands for crustaceans, and crustaceans means aquatic arthropods. Then number 20 say, which part of the brain controls endocrine secretions? The correct answer is endocrine secretions, meaning the one that controls the pituitary gland, which is the master gland, and option D is the answer. The hypothalamus controls the secretions of the endocrine. So hormonal secretions are controlled by the hypothalamus. That's what is meant by endocrine secretions. Endocrine is connected with endocrine glands. Okay, number 21 say the modern theory of the process of evolution. Okay, you retracted your message. Okay, the modern theory of the process of evolution that combines evidence from classical genetics with theory of natural selection. Please, when classical genetics is combined with the theory of natural selection, listen, normally the theory of natural selection was Darwin's theory, and that was the work that tells us, though it wasn't Darwin's alone, it was the work of Darwin's and Alfred Russel Wallace. So Charles Darwin and Wallace collectively propounded a theory known as Darwin's theory. Then one should note this: Darwin noticed that organisms show variation. They are not the same thing and they compete. Then some are fittest, some are suited to the competition, some are not suited to the competition. So that's why they concluded that it is the survival of the fittest. So the fittest differed from the weakest. So he noticed variation among members of a population, but he couldn't identify the source and cause of the variation. Then after that, remember his work was around 1859, 1858. That time there is nothing like genetics yet. So he couldn't describe the cause and source of variation. That was limitation to traditional Darwin's theory of evolution. He noticed that organisms show variation. Remember, in summary, Darwin's theory of evolution states that recent day species evolved from simpler ancestral type by the process of natural selection, acting on the variability found within a population. So the driving force here is natural selection, but there is a variation. We have weaker ones, the stronger ones, but he couldn't explain the source of this variation. Now, the discovery of classical genetics was able to explain the cause of variation. We started knowing something about gene. There is what we call gene mutation, environmental influence. Therefore, the knowledge of classical genetics combined with traditional Darwin's theory is called New Darwin's theory, which is option A. New means new. So the correct answer here is Neo-Darwinism. So we go to the next question. Neo-Darwinism, that's option A, is the modern theory of, that's when you combine traditional Darwin's theory with the knowledge of genetics, we call it Darwinism, or sorry, Neo-Darwinism. Then number 22 say, which of the following structures in spider is responsible for the production of silk for construction of a spider web? You know, silk, you know that a spider pollutes, and equally the economic importance is that it kind of spoils something in our home. With that, web, of course, they keep some places untidy, not looking good as you might like. So what do they use in that? The spinnerets is the correct answer. They use spinnerets. Please, chelicera is actually for grafting and also for cutting. It can be used for fence and defense or for feeding. Then C is spiracle. That should be actually for breeding. Then ocelli is just a group of 3 or 4 simple eye found in the of course in the arachnids and some other animal. That's just an eye. So the answer is A. Spinnerets are used to produce web. Then the question number 23 say, the larger proportion of the body's blood at any time is contained in the larger proportion of the body's blood at any time is contained in the capillaries. Please, it's not capillaries. Then B says arterial system. No. C says venous system. Yes, though we have not seen option D, but just know that veins have large lumen. That's lumen is actually the hole. See the illustration here. Like if you have a vein, veins should have a wider lumen. For arteries have narrow lumen. So let's see veins and arteries. If this is an artery and this is a vein, so you have that on drawing, I'm concentrating on the lumen only. Arteries will have very small hole in the middle. So here is our lumen, but veins will have wider lumen. So let me shade it. Here is for lumen. Thank you for your recommendation. So here is the lumen, then here is also lumen. For vein, the volume of veins are more than that of arteries. The volume of veins, that's the volume in veins is more than that of arteries. So artery have narrow lumen. What I'm saying here is lumen, lumen. That's the tiny hole. Like if you have, for example, what I have here, this hole is the lumen. Veins have thin muscular wall with a wide lumen. That means that veins have more volume. So the greater proportion of the blood always are found in the what? Vein. And that's why veins can also be called capacitance vessel. The capacitance vessel means veins. Why? Because they have larger volume and carry larger quantity of blood compared to artery. But blood flow in vein is at lower pressure, but blood flow in arteries is at high pressure. Remember, the higher a normal law in nature is that the smaller the volume, the higher the pressure, of course. Remember your Boyle's law, though this is biology, but it will help you understand. So if you have narrow lumen, the pressure there will be high because it means low volume, high pressure. Then pressure in vein is low because of that higher volume. Okay, we go to the next question. The next question here is number 20. Okay, we are done with this particular set. We now lift another question. First, let's get this board very clean. Remember to ask your questions, please, if you have any. and your success is my topmost priority. Her Majesty's World Science Channel loves you so much, and I'm expecting the best from you. Okay, we have answered this. Are you sure we are not through with our questions for today? Okay, I think I stopped at that particular point, or maybe I will lift. Have we seen what is here? Okay. So now bring in your own questions, please. I'm here for you. It looks like we have answered the whole questions. This one, the figures are not complete. The figures are not complete. Unless I'll go and upload the video again. Let's see that video for today's stream. Okay. Okay, please, sinusoid is even there. But thank God I've answered that question. That's question number 23. So we look at 24 here. Okay, 24 says glycolysis. Say, please, why is blood formed? Where is blood formed? I can't get to. Blood is formed in the, there is what we call splenomegaly, or rather simple, blood is formed in the bone marrow. Blood is formed in the stem cells of the bone marrow, if I get your questions well. So especially the long bones, it is long bones that produce blood cells. Then question 24. Glycolysis takes place in A, nucleus of a cell, B, mitochondria, C, cytoplasm, D, endoplasmic reticulum. Please, glycolysis occur in the cytoplasm. Don't be tempted answering mitochondrion. Please, glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm. So the glycolytic enzymes such as hexokinase, glucokinase, glucose-6-phosphate dehydrogenase, mention them, the aldolase, the mutase, they are all found in the cytoplasm. Then it is after this glycolysis that the reaction will now proceed in the mitochondria if there is sufficient energy. So TCA cycle, otherwise known as Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle, occurs in the mitochondria. And even electron transport chain occur in the mitochondria. But glycolysis, which is the conversion of glucose to pyruvic acid or pyruvate, occur in the cytoplasm. Then obstruction of the gall ducts will affect the digestion of gall duct contains, remember, the gall duct connects the gallbladder, then the gallbladder stores bile, and bile is responsible for the emulsification of fat. So lipid is the answer. Obstruction of gall duct will affect the digestion of lipids. Then which of the following diseases is caused by a rodent virus? This one is, even without the option, it is obvious that Lassa fever is caused by rats, and rats should be there as a rodent. So it should be Lassa fever, even though we have not seen the options. So we go to question 27, which says, which of the following is likened to mitosis? Remember, mitosis is a kind of division, a magic division or a multiplication division, whereby 2n divides to give rise to another 2n, which leads to growth, is the basis for growth, unlike meiosis, which is a reduction division or normal life division. So remember that the answer is actually A, please, mitosis. Second meiotic division is mitotic in nature. Second meiotic division is mitotic in nature. Then question 28 says, the mutual resemblance of cheetah, tiger, and leopard is an example of, the mutual resemblance of these is a good example of Mullerian mimicry. Option B, mutual resemblance of organisms that are all harmful is called Mullerian mimicry, but resemblance of a harmless organism with a harmful one is called Batesian mimicry, which is there as option D. So Batesian mimicry is resemblance of harmful and harmless organisms, but mutual resemblance of organisms that are all harmful is called Mullerian mimicry. Like leopard, cheetah, they look alike and they are all dangerous. Hornet, bee, wasp all look alike and they are all dangerous. So, but insect pollinators that flies like bees, thus mimicking and actually deceiving someone, is called Batesia mimicry. So we go to 29, which says primary and secondary hosts for Taenia solum. Remember, man is usually the primary host. Please, man is always primary host. So man and pig is for Taenia solum, but the question says Taenia saginata. So the correct answer should be man and cattle, because they said saginata. Taenia saginata is for cattle, but Taenia solum is for pig. So the correct answer is option D. Now, come live with your questions, please, as we take a little break.
Hi guys, I'm Savannah. I'm a medical student in Infrastructure, and I'm here to encourage you to subscribe to Sir Majesty Easy World. He does fun experiments and science questions. Please subscribe, and yeah, have a good time.
Extrinsic muscles of the eyeball. Different actions of the latissimus dorsi.
Remember to subscribe to Sir Majesty Easy World Science channel on YouTube, and there you will find
Muscles of the eyeball. Different actions of the latissimus dorsi.
So get me your questions, please. I'm here.
Remember to subscribe to Sir Majesty Easy World Science channel on YouTube, and there you will find all the a lot of amazing videos, and yeah, they are very educating.
And to share this free, just go online and click the button in that app.
About 50 videos are available for you. Educative and informative, inspiring and entertaining industrial production processes. Sir Majesty Easy World is an online school of science. No school fees.
Okay. So please, the weather is not clement at all. The rain is distracting. It's raining over here I'm streaming from, but it doesn't stop me from answering your question. I'm very, very close to the camera. I'm very sure you can hear me loud and clear despite the background noise from the rain. Just know that we are still live with Sir Majesty's World Science channel on our last live stream before your 2021 JAMB examination in biology. So get me your questions, you that is still online. If I don't see your questions, I'll have no reason but to stop this live stream. Please, if you have asked a question that I have not attended to, please repeat the questions again. Just repeat it in the live chat. I'll see it. Repeat it in the live chat to come live again.
This is the vertebral column. So we will take a look at the bones that makes up the skull of the trachea here. So,
okay, as I wait for you to come live with your questions, let us see the other questions for the stream 1 and 2 in biology. So let's check the stream 1. Okay. Okay, nice to see that you are there. Thanks for participating in today's live stream. It is a very big pleasure to have someone like you. Don't forget to subscribe.
Hi,
My name is Shemika Rize, and I'm a second year medical science.
my name is Sushma Tripathi and I'm a first year medical student.
We're here today to ask you to please subscribe to Sir Majesty Easy World.
It has cool experiments and it's science fun. So, subscribe!
Please.
I love you. Thank you for watching. I love you. Thank you for watching.
So see you tomorrow for chemistry live stream, the last time. God bless you for being there. Her Majesty Easy World loves you. You are going nowhere better than this channel. I would like to see you next time. Invite your friends and share my live stream links with them.